Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. I'm Big B. So we got the 51 TFL Ariane on the block. All right. In this video, it's going to be a long video because we're going to actually pull apart these Arenson, these surface drives, completely, almost completely disassemble them. We're going to grease them, oil them, do our pre-run maintenance, Loctite. Basically take everything apart and see how it works. You know, I need to get this cap off of here, see how that works, how it's put together, check to see if there's any extra parts that we need to pick up, like backups or spares. So yeah, it's gonna be a long video. Toward the end, I did get an order in, so I'll show you guys the motors, these 56 104s. They're freaking beast, man. Oh, that'll be toward the end. So stick around. Long video. Grab your popcorn and drinks. Big B. We're Ironclad RC. I want to show you guys kind of what's going on, and the reason why I want to try to get this cap right here off. Okay. So this side over here, it's solid. You know, it don't have no play right in here. It's pretty solid. So this one, when this motor got busted loose and the stuffing tube came out, it's like it's got some play here. You guys see that? And I've been trying to like spin my stuffing tube. Oh, we got it spinning. We got it spinning. See, there's nothing to grab onto. I have these spreader pliers here, and I'm kind of scared to. I don't want to bend that flange. Oh, we just got it. Oh shit! I've been fighting. Man, alive! I have been fighting this, and I was about to say I didn't want to disform this little flange by putting pressure on it and pulling it. Oh, yes, we got it out. Okay, so it looks like it's got a little well, I know it's supposed to have an O-ring right here in the exploded view from TFL, you know, but in the exploded view I couldn't tell if it was like threaded or it just kind of pressed in there. Okay, so that's not supposed to come out, I wouldn't imagine, you know. So let me sorry about all the loud noise. Let me see if I can get you zoomed in. My eyes are terrible, so I'm using the camera as my eye, my bifocal, so to speak. So let me get a little pick here, something to pick at it with. It's supposed to have an O-ring in here. Okay, so it does have an O-ring there. I'm going to get that cleaned up. Let's get it cleaned up so we can really see what's going on here. That was alcohol. Yeah, squirted in there. I don't want the grease to get all over my hull here because I still got a lot of stuff to epoxy in. So, okay, so let's see. Okay, so I've had a minute to kind of check things out. I got it kind of cleaned up. Used some alcohol in there and kind of cleaned up some of that oil so we can kind of see what we're doing here. So there's an O-ring inside of this that I would imagine kind of holds this in place and keeps that O-ring, actually keeps the oil and grease in, you know. Okay, so I want to actually, I don't know what to do here. So I'm wondering, when that motor broke loose, I'm wondering if it broke some type of sealant or adhesive loose. It don't look like it has any sealant or adhesive on here, but I've only had it apart for a couple minutes here. Yeah, I don't see any adhesive residue on this. I don't see any adhesive residue on this either. You know, so inside there you got your square end for your cable. Okay, that's what turns everything. I also see, get you guys zoomed in a little better here so you're not like blurry. I also see an E-clip in there. You guys see that? So that's basically going to prevent the drive line from slipping out this way. Okay. I took this drive dog off, and by the way, there was no Loctite whatsoever on the grub screw or the drive dog. Okay, so if you guys have this boat, thinking about getting it, you may want to Loctite that drive dog on, both of them. Loctite the grub screw into the drive dog so it don't back off mid-run or anything. Okay, because they're going to be turning some huge props, 67/16, so make sure that's ironclad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking I had one of my viewers, Montchory, I hope I got, I don't know, it sounds like a French name, but he asked me if when we oil our cable up, is it gonna squirt oil out here, is it gonna leak oil back here? So from the looks of it so far, where's the cap? Don't tell me I lost the cap. So far, I don't think we'll lose oil the way they have it. You know, an O-ring here sealing it up. So whatever oil, grease is in the drive line is not going to come out back here. Now I'm kind of up in the air. Do I want to maybe use some RTV on this? I don't know. Maybe some Loctite. I don't know, because I think we may need to get access to it later on. For some reason, this one over here just feels so much more tighter than this one. So I'm wondering if the O-ring, I'm using this camera as my eye because I have bad eyes, so sorry. Alright, let's go ahead and put this back in since we know we can get it off. I'm just wondering if this one over here is not moving because it's like only in one place. It's kind of, you know, I wonder if it's just, it feels stationary because it is stationary, or if it's like kind of glued in place, you know. Brian, if you're watching this, you may want to actually Loctite these screws in back here, because mine wasn't even tight. Mine aren't even tight, man. Look at it. Oh, that one was tight. Let's see if one of these is tight. Oh, that one was barely tight. Yep, so I'm gonna go through and, yeah, they're not even tight. So Loctite these screws. Okay, some blue, little bit of blue Loctite. It's not gonna take much. Now mine does look like they used some sealant around it, you know, so I don't think we're gonna need to like waterproof it. We'll know when we put it in the water, but yeah, some Loctite on these screws. You know, my first Arenson drive, surface drive. Well, and it's like a kind of a learning curve, so I'm just trying to learn how it's all put together. You know what I mean? So I can come up with the best way of building my boat. you know. So I took that drive dog off so I could try to tap it, like kind of, I was lightly tapping it, okay. Anytime you tap on a drive shaft, dead blow it lightly. And I was seeing if I could get it to kind of push through, and it's not wanting to push through, but I'm not forcing it either, you know. So I'm gonna refer back to the exploded view and just, I really want to know how this is held in place, to be sure that E-clip on the inside is not holding all this in place, you know. It can't be. I mean, you would think. Okay, let me get this back off. Where are my pliers at? Okay, so I'm actually going to go in and out with the Arenson, up and down. Okay. Okay, so with that drive dog off, here. So with that drive dog off, oh shit, the whole out drive is basically loose here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, let's see. So I got the steering loose, I've got this guy here, this tie bar loose, and I'm gonna pull this out. Okay, so from my personal knowledge, it's got a washer, then a brass cup, and then it's got the ball. Okay, so now I know how that goes together. No washer, no O-ring in there. Alright, so let's see what happens when I pull this off. I want to know how this thing works. Okay, so it's got bearing. Alright, so I'm going to need to order some bearings for this thing. Yep, I'm running this brackish water. I'm gonna definitely have to have some bearings handy. Okay, so it's a bushing on this side, it looks like, and then it's riding on a bearing toward the front. So if we pack this full of grease, that bearing shouldn't really see water. Well, I guess it will, because this boot's gonna probably work its way off. It don't like to stay on when I make hard turns. What is this? Is this an O-ring, or it's just packed full of grease? Yeah, grease. Okay. Alright, and then this was the universal. It looks like a, yeah, just a cup universal here. Probably should, wow, look at that. Yeah, so what I need to go ahead and order, it looks like, from my experience running RCs, period, probably need to get it a universal, because this will probably let loose at one point. That's probably going to be a good part to have around. Hopefully not. Hopefully it don't let loose, but you know how it is. Okay, so now you guys kind of see how it goes together here. Alright, I'll slide it back. Yeah, so that stinger's just floating, you know. It's literally just floating there. And I guess that ball is kind of holding it tight in this cup right here. Pretty cool design. Pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of contact here, you know. And I got this drive dog pushed forward, and there's little to no play here. Okay, you don't really have to worry about, like a flex cable, a traditional flex cable, you know, constricting and sucking that shaft up the drive dog, sucking up the drive dog up onto the strut or stinger. Like this is a two-piece, so basically wherever this shaft is sitting in here is where it's going to be at, you know. And I don't think we can actually upgrade, you know, later on. I don't think we'll be able to upgrade to a single cable. I don't know if TFL makes a single cable for this, you know, single one piece. So I think we'll just basically, like, kind of, well, not really force, but you definitely gonna have to run the two-piece drive line, which they have a grease fitting here and a grease fitting oil fitting on the stuffing tube for the cable. You know, you can grease it here or oil it. I'll probably oil mine. We'll see. I may change my mind if it gets messy in there or something, but yeah, I got this pushed all the way up. And really, if I would have, I mean, I spun these before I made my order, you know, but they're actually there's kind of a lot of resistance on them in a way. I mean, compared to a single like flex cable in a traditional stuffing tube and stinger, you know, you could basically, without any motor on it, you could basically free spin it like that, no problem. With these, there's actually quite a bit of resistance on it, you know. You got the bushing, the universal style connection there, then you got it sitting in a bearing inside, then you have the stuffing tube and the flex cable. So this one does not have a flex cable in it. This one does. Yeah, you can see it's harder to spin, trying to put the same amount of force on it. Yeah, I would have went lower kV. I went with 1150, which should be fine. We got two motors. We do have a couple big props. I ordered a 26 16 1050 ABC, kind of a low rake, you know, very similar to the stock prop. So I think we should be there. We should be okay there. You know, I got my boat stood up. I turned my Arenson, my barrel, my Al-Drive barrel here. I flipped it around so I can spray Corrosion X on this bearing. Okay, and this bearing. Let it soak in there. Okay. Maybe even spin it a little bit. Spin the bearing. Okay, so that's a little reassuring there. Both of them are kind of out of balance, so I guess they kind of self-center themselves once they're riding in the bearing, the bushing is all lined up. They kind of self-center themselves, you know. So that's good to see. Okay. Don't use. Oh yeah, man. Did I get it on? Oh, I didn't even think about these boots. Oh, I need to clean these boots. I'm gonna go wash. I'm gonna take these boots off and wash them in Dawn. Okay. I didn't even think about that. Let me wash my hands. Oh yeah. Let me get that worked out. All right. So I got these boots off. I don't know if that's. Yep, that's Corrosion X. Damn. All right. I'm gonna go wash these in Dawn and alcohol. Real quick, real hard. I'm going to give them a real nice bath. Then I'll clean this up. We'll put them on. Right, so I just gave these things a heavy bath of Dawn and awesome degreaser. And I put them on my finger and scrubbed around them. Scrubbed the inside so they should be good. They should be good for a while anyway. You could buy that as a replacement, so I may as well get replacement bearing here, the bearing in here, the boot, because I know I'll rip it at some point. You know, it's just the way the hobby is. Nothing lasts forever. So what I'm going to do, it's been about an hour. I've been, you know, occasionally coming back to it and kind of spinning it. It actually looks like all the pretty much all the corrosion X has soaked into the bearing here. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, since I used the corrosion X here and here, and they basically go together, and the boot kind of closes that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a paper towel and get in there and kind of clean up that corrosion X, soak it up, you know, basically soak up any of that extra corrosion X, and then I'm going to pack. Oh, I don't know if I want to pack it, but I'm definitely going to grease, like, on the bearing. Put a nice coat of grease on the bearing, a nice coat of grease on this side of the bearing. You know, that grease will kind of help keep some of the corrosion X in the bearing, so it don't like leak out onto my my boot. But I know it will. All right, well, I figured I'd make a little clip of cleaning this out. I actually did find something kind of interesting. You see in this one, it's got a snap ring in there too. That's what holds it in place. All right, so we're learning how our boat works. It's very important that you know how your boat works inside and out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. I got the camera in the other hand, so I got my grease here, and I put a little tube on there. I'm gonna basically push grease all the way around that bearing right there. Boom. Gonna do the same thing to this one if I can. Boom. Get that piece of paper towel out of there. I had it cleaned up real nice. Okay, I got these cleaned up nice. I'm going to do the same thing with this, with the grease. Okay, and then we'll put it all back together. All right, so I got them greased up, cleaned up. Like, I cleaned everything with alcohol. This is cleaned. My hands are clean. If anybody could suggest like some type of something I can like tack this boot into place with so that it stays where it's supposed to stay at, I would greatly appreciate it, because I don't know what to use. I don't want like a bunch of stuff globbed up on there. You know, I want to be able to remove the boot and stuff if I need to. But if anybody can recommend something to keep this boot in place, would be greatly appreciated. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my boots on, and then we'll slide these on together. Well, I guess they're both identical, but we're gonna put them on the right way so we don't have to switch out this turnbuckle here. All right, greased up. We'll grease it with this fitting, you know, before we run it. On. Yeah, it looks like you need to kind of spin it. It'll catch on that drive dog thing and stuff. Alright, so that's on there. Okay. So now, washer in first. Washer, and then this little guy right here. That ball sits in that little cup, and then we're going to screw it down on both of them. Kind of thinking some Loctite on these threads on this may be good. Not so much just to like lock it down, but to just keep the nut in place, because if you tighten down on it, it puts a lot of resistance on it. Okay, then you back off of it just a little half a turn, and it frees it up so much, you know. So nice and loose. Okay, then you tighten down on it, it basically locks it in place. Okay, so if your steering's tight, back off on this little quarter turn. So we're going to put some Loctite on it. Alright, so I got my drives tied together. Okay, I got my thrust washer and drive dog on, and we got all that slop out. We got it all out. It's pretty close. Okay, so earlier I had mentioned getting a 1/4 inch thrust bearing like this. Okay, but I was looking here and I noticed it earlier, but it's kind of hard for me to like sometimes talk and think and explain on the fly. But I noticed it, but I didn't really mention it. But this main shaft is where that thrust washer's sitting, not on the 1/4 inch shaft. So we're basically going to need to get an 8mm inside diameter thrust washer, right? This guy right here, thrust bearing. Okay, so this thrust bearing is 8mm by 16mm by 5 thick. So it's a 3-piece thrust bearing, and this is only 2mm thick. Okay, so basically that thrust bearing will not work for this application because it's too wide. So it's 16mm OD and it's larger in diameter. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to run these Teflon thrust washers. So we're not going to be able to upgrade the thrust washer that I know of at the time being. You know, I kind of consider the 1/4 inch thrust washer. If we use the 1/4 inch thrust washer, it's 14.5 outside diameter. Let's see what this drive dog is. 11. Let's see what this is. 13. So even a 1/4 inch thrust bearing is not going to work. Okay, so we're kind of stuck running the Teflon, which is fine. It's going to work fine. I was just thinking that might be a good upgrade to keep everything nice and tight with as minimal drag on the drive line as possible. You know, so I'm gonna basically set this. I'm gonna go ahead and set this, and I'm gonna Loctite it. I want a little gap in there, maybe 1/1000th of an inch, because you don't have to worry about cable shrinkage. That's about the only thing you have to worry about there is the drives moving. But like one of my viewers mentioned, I can't remember who it was, I apologize, when the props are pushing the boat, it's not going to be doing this number here. It's just going to put pressure on it and keep them pushed up and in place, you know. So you want about 1/1000th, I would imagine you want about 1/1000th of an inch. You know, little play there. You don't want them butted up, because Teflon will disform. It'll heat up with a lot of friction. It'll flatten out, which is what it's made for. So it's not metal on metal, it's metal, Teflon metal, you know, and it's not going to damage your drives or the drive dog. So we're going to pick up a pack of these 8mm Teflon washers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these Loctited, because I'm not going to pull this apart. If somebody knows, man, it's actually so much smoother since I've done this maintenance. You know, it feels so much smoother to me now, especially that one. This one's getting there, working in. I wouldn't put a whole lot on here because you really don't want to freaking Loctite it, so it's going to be tough to get off and you have to heat it up. But blue, you can, most of the time you can break blue loose. So I'm just going to put a couple of little drops on this guy, you know, not too much. When you put this back together, to go ahead and situate everything in the nut. So push the nut up over the ball and have that little O-ring in place. Then you put the cup on there, and then you basically slide that into the base. That's going to be the best way to do it. If you try putting the nut on with the cup in there, kind of wobbling around, you're going to strip your threads out, wear something out prematurely. So going to put that on, make sure it's not cross-threaded. Mine feels like it is, so let's try it again. It may just be tight to get on. Pretty sure they go all the way in, if I remember, because I had it together earlier. There we go, I got it. Yep, so it's supposed to screw all the way down to the base. If it don't screw down to the base, then you got that little cup in there moving around. You know what I'm saying? If it's not sitting there right, it's going to leak water. Water will get into this base. The way they have it designed, that little O-ring, it's basically watertight. So if you have it put together wrong, that little O-ring's not going to be in the right place, and you're going to get water in your boat. Okay? Well, water in the steering. Okay, so tight it all the way tight. It's actually, I don't feel no resistance in the steering. Actually, I do. So I'm going to back off of it, maybe a third of a turn. Yeah, quarter turn, third of a turn. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to basically do that same thing to all of these. Okay, so we got both drives greased, oiled, serviced. Okay, everything's on there. All I gotta do is Loctite this guy on. I was kind of waiting. We're done. Okay, I actually just gonna, I'm not gonna like glue this cap on. I think the stuff and tube being held in place keeps that cap pushed into place, you know. So once we mount this up to our motor, we can it'll be fine. Okay, so I don't think there's any adhesive needed. All right, man, I got my motors in. This thing's freaking massive. Largest motor I own, period. Bigger than the X-Max motor, bigger than the Blackjack motor. This is a 36 motor. This is an Oxtein 4082. Look at that motor, boy. Oh. I got the couplers, I got the servo in. Okay, I got 2 of these. All my connectors are coolants here. One XLX, I'm waiting on the other one. We're ready to go. This is all serviced. You know, I've never pulled this apart. I've never owned anything like this. So I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to show you guys and bring you guys with me to see how it worked, you know. I hope I got everything right. You know, I didn't know the terms for a lot of it, but I'm working on it. I'm doing my homework, so I'm getting better about it. If you guys seen anything that I could do or you know, that may help me, hey, throw it in the comments. Like I said, I just lightly Loctited these on. I can back them off with my hand if I want to, but I use that Loctite because there's oil in them from greasing the cable. I use that Loctite to kind of just add some reassurance, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, if anybody knows what I can use for these boots to kind of keep them on there, you know, just like maybe even a spray glue, I don't know. Let me know. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you kind of learned something. Hopefully you guys are excited about the build. If you are, hit the notification, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Big B with Ironclad RC.